Hello queens, angels, and goddesses. Shout out to Mellow Mushroom and Okpa. Go subscribe to them. The links to their channels in the description. If you don't like my channel then why are you on it? What's that? Shirabu asked him. Semi pulled at the rainbow striped scarf around his neck. It's Pride Week, and I'm really fucking gay. Oh. Shirabu inspected the scarf, his inquisitive gaze sweeping over its stripes, but Semi couldn't read his expression. He was not disgusted or hostile, not embarrassed or uncomfortable, just curious. Is that a problem? He asked suspiciously. What? No, I'm not some homophobic ass, if that's what you're thinking, Shirabu asserted, his gaze still stuck on Semi's scarf. His neck started to burn. Semi adjusted the scarf, tugging on the ends. He sneered, then what the fuck are you staring for? Shirabu scowled, scrunching his nose and crossing his arms. Little shit. Actually, I was going to ask you for advice, but you don't seem very keen to talk to me. Semi rolled his eyes. Some part of him just wanted to walk away from the rude little setter prodigy, but he did like it when his teammates came to him for advice. What kind of advice? A rosy blush began to cloud Shirabu's cheeks. How did you know that I'm gay? Shirabu nodded. For me, it wasn't very hard to figure it out, Semi said with a content sigh, secretly pleased to help Shirabu with this matter. I'd never really understood the way other guys talked about girls. Eventually, I realized that the way my other friends talked about girls, that was how I felt about guys. I had my first crush on a guy back in middle school. I didn't know it was a crush until later, but looking back, it was kind of obvious. I caught myself staring at him, all the time, his face, his eyes, his lips. It was weird, because I wanted to touch him, kiss him, but I also just wanted to be around him, and make him happy. Shirabu seemed to consider this, the slight blush still gracing his cheeks. I didn't ask for your life story. TCH. Well, that's what you got. You're the one who asked, Semi remarked. Why? Do you think you're gay? Shirabu's gaze finally broke away from his scarf, and drifted to the space between Semi's feet. Probably. Probably. His lips quirked. There is someone, a guy, who I have feelings for. Feelings like the ones you described. Oh, Semi said with a smirk. The little shit has a little shitty crush. A little shitty gay crush. How adorable. Who is it? Like I'd tell you, Shirabu scoffed, but the bright pink of his cheeks gave away his embarrassment, ruining his indifferent demeanor. The younger boy glanced at his feet and started in the other direction. Semi grabbed his shoulder before he could leave. Wait, he said. Shirabu had come to him for advice, and Semi thought he deserved a bit more than teasing from him, even if Shirabu was, well, Shirabu. Hey, if you need any help with any of this stuff, I'm here for you. If you need someone to talk to. Or dating tips, he said with a suggestive wink. Shirabu twisted his mouth in surprise and disgust, and Semi drunk in his affronted expression like good sake. To top off the moment, he unwrapped the scarf around his neck and draped it around Shirabu. He has a small frame, Semi noted, his hands lingering on Shirabu's shoulders. His gaze flickered up to Shirabu's bright red cheeks. With a smirk, Semi ruffled his hair and took off in the other direction. Happy Pride. He called behind him. He hoped he'd turned away before Shirabu noticed his own blush. Hey, how's that crush working out for you? Semi said to Shirabu a couple days later, catching up to him on his way home after practice. Shirabu scowled. Semi thought it was almost cute how his nose scrunched up like that when he frowned. He bumped Shirabu with his elbow. I'm curious. What kind of man would an uptight, sassy setter like you fall for? Ignoring him, Shirabu said, I still have your weird scarf. Would you please take it back? It still smells like aggressive, jealous pinch server. Keep it. I insist. Getting back on topic, Semi said, is it someone on the team? Shirabu was silent. That was enough of an answer for Semi. Please tell me it's no, Ashijima. Because him and Tendao. It's no, Ashijima-san. What I feel for him is different. I wouldn't want to kiss him or anything. It's be like kissing a rock. A volleyball? Shirabu smirked. I was going to say a big brother, but those are probably true, too. No offense to Ashijima-san, of course. Semi grunted. Getting anything out of Shirabu was harder than he'd thought it'd be. So, if it's no, Ashijima, who the hell is it? You've gotta tell me now. I'm not obligated to tell you anything. Shirabu turned his nose up. Infuriating little shit. Semi squinted at his profile, outlined by the late afternoon sun, and tried to figure out his deal. Which of their teammates would this prude fall for? Semi couldn't imagine any of them walking home with this kid, holding those delicate, precise hands, running their fingers through that stupid, perfectly stylish hair, kissing those lips that looked like they held a secret. Which they did. Who was Shirabu's crush? By now, Semi was burning with curiosity. Is it someone younger? You don't seem like the type to have a tolerance for someone younger. Older, then. Are they a starter? What position do they play? Is it Kawanishi? You guys seem close. Goshiki? That kid's even more Ushi obsessed than you. You guys could talk about him together all day. No. A third year? Tendao. Nah, Tendao doesn't seem like your type. Rian? Yamagata? Shit, Shirabu, who is it? Shirabu maintained his impassive expression through all of Semi's questioning, not deigning a single one with an answer. Shirabu, I'm only trying to help, Semi complained. You know, I'm an excellent wingman. Shirabu's giggle cut him off. It sounded like bubbles and pixie dust, not entirely unpleasant. What? You say that like you've actually set people up together before. Who says I haven't? Semi protested indignantly. Shirabu peered at him mischievously through his fringe. Who says you have? Semi frowned. Little shit. Besides, Shirabu continued, his cheeks starting to flush again, you wouldn't be able to help my case with your non-existent matchmaking skills. Semi cocked his head. The way Shirabu phrased it, it sounded weird. He couldn't make sense of this boy. Why did you say it like that? Shirabu stopped walking and looked down at his feet. His face was redder than ever. You can't play two parts at once. Says who? Semi asked. Says me? What the hell do you mean by, the gears started turning in Semi's head. You can't play two parts at once. Two parts. Matchmaker, and you have a crush on me? So you see, you can't help. The words rushed out of Shirabu's mouth, and before Semi had time to react, he pushed past Semi and hurried up the road. Shirabu, wait. Semi yelled, running to catch up with him. He caught his shoulder before he could get any further. Slowly, Shirabu turned around. Semi smiled at him, without the hint of a smirk in his expression for once. You dumbus, I'm the only one for the job. He placed his hand on Shirabu's head, his fingers sweeping through his hair, it was even softer than it looked, and coming down to cup Shirabu's cheek. His cheek burned against Semi's fingers as he dragged his hand down and along the tender skin of Shirabu's stubborn chin. With two fingers, he tilted Shirabu's chin up so that their eyes met. He looked at him with wide, brown eyes, shining with glee, and Semi couldn't help but blush. Stupid, big brown eyes, little shit, making my heart flutter like this. Shirabu suddenly knocked his hand away, but before Semi could protest, Shirabu's lips were on his. The quick peck startled Semi so much he almost jumped away. Shirabu pulled away quickly, leaving Semi aching for more. Someone's eager, Semi teased, his arms wrapping around Shirabu's tiny waist. His lips still tingled with the shadow of Shirabu's kiss, flooding him with feelings of giddiness and affection. Would you prefer I weren't? Shirabu smirked. What's the fun in that? Shirabu giggled, and Semi swore it was the most magical thing he ever heard. Semi walked him the rest of the way home, weaving their hands together in the very way he had imagined when trying to figure out Shirabu's crush. Only now, Semi realized why he couldn't imagine anyone with Shirabu, because he couldn't imagine anyone but himself filling the role. Soon they reached Shirabu's door, and Semi let his hand go. Right as he reached his door, Shirabu turned around and waved. Happy Pride. He called. Happy Pride. It was definitely the happiest Pride week Semi had ever had. Warning, this fanfiction does not belong to me, neither does the fan art. Credits to the original artist and author to the fan art and the fanfiction. Hey, Caillou does not belong to me either. Well, bye children, smiling face with hearts.